So whether you do the Juggernaut method, the Cube method, 5-3-1, West Side, whatever it is, you guys need to understand your unique needs for yourself, for your athletes, and make it your program. So there's really 5 kind of key tenets that we're going to talk about in our program design. And those things are practicing the sporting movement, so specificity of training, accessory work, building your lifts rather than always testing them, the relationship of intensity, volume, and frequency, and then not so much a programming idea, but just sort of a strength idea about redefining your expectations of what is possible. So the first point I want to talk about is practicing the movements and sport specificity. So powerlifting, like Olympic lifting, like football, like basketball, soccer, lacrosse, whatever you guys deal with, is a sport and it requires unique skills. And so often, I think the training of powerlifters, they lose the concept of sport practice. But the squat, with the straight bar and straight weight to depth is sport practice for me. The bench with the pause on my chest is sport practice. And the deadlift from the floor, with no straps or anything, is sport practice. And as simple as a concept as that seems, people get caught up in, this specialty bar, bands or chains, whatever it is, block pulls, all this different kind of stuff. And yeah, that might look cool for a YouTube video, all right? But it's not the sport practice. And as you get farther and farther away from those competitive exercises, all right, they're gonna have less and less carryover to your on the platform success. And if you're a competitive powerlifter, that's what matters. Gym lifts, who gives a damn? Like don't be a YouTube superstar. I always kind of joke that I'm not a great lifter in the gym. I mean, my best gym squat is 825 compared to 937 in a meet. And I'll get into a little bit of why I think that is the case, but you gotta make it count where it counts. So doing all these different lifts in the gym, can they have their place? Possibly, but understand that you need to practice your sport, all right? And as you get farther away from it, with the different bars and accommodating resistance and whatnot, it's almost like you're a football player and you're trying to do rugby drills to get better at football. Is rugby like football? Yes, but it's not football. So make sure you're practicing what matters. And as some people get farther and farther away from it, it's like they're trying to do layup drills to be a better offensive lineman. So understand the squat, bench, and deadlift are sport practice, and they need to be treated as such with great attention to technical practice every opportunity you have. As you're looking at exercise selection as it relates to specificity of your training, the way I like to think of it is a pyramid, all right? A pyramid of qualification, really, as a lifter. So who knows who Andrei Milanichev is? Or for our Olympic weightlifting friends, Ilya Ilyin? All right, so Milanichev, best powerlifter ever, 24.69 raw, and he made it look pretty easy. Ilya Ilyin, probably the best Olympic weightlifter going right now, 2 gold medals, world record, clean and jerk, world record total. Ilya's a Bulgarian system lifter, squats, snatch, clean and jerk only, with very, very high frequency, and Milanichev is about the equivalent of that for powerlifting. His entire training is the squat, bench, and deadlift with no variations and no accessory work. It would be a mistake for anyone in this room, including Brandon and myself, to think that we are that highly qualified that we only need the most specific exercise. But as you move up, this ladder of qualification, only the most specific will carry over. Like for House's guys, Cam Newton's probably not really going to be a better quarterback because he puts 10 pounds on his bench. At that point, when you're that good at something, only the sport practice at varying intensities, the competitive exercise at varying intensities is what will improve you.
And so many people picked up the Cube method and they said, okay, I'm doing your accessories and I'm not getting stronger, I'm not doing this. And it's like, well, those are my accessories. One of the things about sport training, or specifically for powerlifting, is you need to do things to make yourself better. That's one of the first questions I ask clients of mine. What do you hate to do? because inevitably that's what we're going to do a lot of. Because if you hate to do it, you're running from it for a reason, because it's hard, because your ego's too big, it can't fit through the door. You don't want to do something that's hard. So a lot of times, you know, like let's say on the bench press, the way that I coach the bench press is not a pec movement. The bench press is a lat, tricep, shoulder movement, finishing with the pecs. I lower on the lats, explode with the triceps, finish with the shoulders, and squeeze the pecs. That's the way I coach the bench press. So why am I going to have a guy doing dumbbell flies? Why am I going to have a guy doing, you know, isolation presses on a hammer strength machine when that's totally counterintuitive to what I'm trying to teach him to do to press maximally? So what I have my guys do, as I was just talking to this gentleman over here, I do lat pull downs every single day, 5 to 6 days a week. Why? Well, because lats are pretty good for my bench press, they help my deadlift, and they help me keep tight in the squat. Sounds like I need a lot of lat. One of the best statements I ever heard when I first started training came from a guy named Robbie Burns. He probably taught me more about powerlifting than anyone. He actually introduced me to powerlifting. He said, I've seen guys with big pecs, big arms, big legs that were weak as shit. He said, I've never seen a guy with a big back that was weak. So that was one of the best things I ever heard, and it stuck with me. So I always trained back really, really hard, because Robbie had one of the strongest backs I ever knew, and he was the guy that I really wanted to impress. So when you're thinking about all the things that you need to do, again, let's say for the bench press, I'll stick on that. If you're gonna do the bench press, you wanna do things that will mimic the movement of the bench press to assist the bench press, all right? Again, dumbbell flies are not gonna make you a better bench presser. Palms facing, because it's a little bit of an alternate grip, dumbbell press will make you a better bench presser. Doing a lat pull down like this will not make you a better bench presser. Doing the lat pull down in the plane of your bench press will make you a better bench presser. Doing a squat formation, or doing a squat, such as Chad said, where you vary the width of your feet, the angle of your toes, those things will carry over more than leg extensions or leg curls. I do like leg curls just for direct hamstring work, but actually working things that will mimic the movement to make you better is what you need to strive for. Are barbell rows going to make you a better deadlifter? Yeah, because you're going to get a lot of direct lat movement and you're going to be mimicking that movement. One of the things that I adapted, I mean, we call them Lilly shrugs, is taking a dumbbell and coming down just below the knee like an RDL, standing up and not only pulling up but pulling back to teach you to pull back, you know, in the deadlift. That's one of the things that we modified, because shrugs is kind of a boring movement, you know, so I wanted to apply something that would work better as far as an accessory movement. Accessory movements are to improve a deficiency.